Sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
It is a very chilly Thursday afternoon for us here in mid-Michigan. Satellite and radar shows a blanket of light to moderate snow showers falling across the region. But notice they're already starting to dry things out off to our west, and that dry air moves into our forecast later this afternoon. Temperatures incredibly chilly, 33 degrees in Jackson and Lansing, 34 our current temperature in Mason, Charlotte, and up in St. John's. Not only will we be chilly today, but we're also going to still have some very breezy conditions to contend with, similar to what we have already seen in the first half of the day. We'll have some more details on what else you should be expecting in just a bit. 6 News at Noon starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at Noon.
The White House is moving forward today with an executive order aimed at dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. It's our top story at noon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jorma Duran. Megan is off today. Teacher groups are already vowing to fight President Trump's order in court. Natalie Brand is here for you now with the latest from Washington.
After weeks of talking about it,
we want education to be moved back where the states run education.
President Trump is expected to sign an executive order this afternoon aimed at dismantling the Department of Education, a longtime goal of conservatives.
We have spent more than $3 trillion at this federal bureaucracy. What has been the return on that investment for the American taxpayer? Levels that are less than ideal, less than proficient.
Eliminating the department would require congressional approval, and an administration official tells CBS News the order does not change federal student loans or Title I assistance for students from low-income families.
Protect our students, protect our families.
Teachers groups rallied Wednesday ahead of the executive order signing. Its estimated federal funding makes up just 10 to 14% of K-12 education, but critics of the Trump policy still worry about the potential impacts to the most vulnerable children.
I think too often at the state and federal level when we're passing legislation, we don't really know the true impact of that legislation because we're not asking the teachers and educators in the trenches how that will impact them.
Meanwhile, a federal judge has given the Trump administration a new deadline of this afternoon to provide more details about deportation flights to El Salvador this weekend. Families of some of the men dispute they are members of a Venezuelan gang. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Here in Michigan, the nonprofit School Finance Research Foundation hosted a virtual media roundtable today and announced the release of a first-of-its-kind statewide school facilities study. Officials say this study is a historic, comprehensive look at the actual cost of bringing Michigan's traditional K-12 public school facilities, many more than 50 years old, up to standards to ensure a safe, healthy learning environment for students.
The significance of this first-of-its-kind, comprehensive, statewide facility study cannot be overstated. This was the first time we have taken a hard look at what it would cost to bring our school buildings up to standards that would support a safe, healthy learning environment. The findings of our study help fill a major gap in Michigan's current school funding model and provide important data for policymakers and educators.
The statewide school facility study builds on the findings of the 2018 School Finance Research Collaborative Study, which determined the true cost to educate a child in Michigan. Police in Troy say they've apprehended a hospital employee who shot and wounded a co-worker at a hospital this morning. The incident prompted a lockdown at Corewell Health Beaumont Medical Complex and area schools. The Troy Police Department confirmed on the social media platform X that the suspect is in custody and the victim is a 25-year-old man.
Security was able to give us information that it appears a handgun was fired 5 times at the victim. The victim was hit 2 times in the arm, and his vehicle was also struck.
Officials say it appears to be a targeted incident between the 2 men. Members from the State House Progressive Women Caucus held a press conference today to introduce their new 10-bill pay equity package. They say if passed, it will provide tools and requirements for Michigan employers to ensure all workers are compensated fairly. Supporters say that even though women make up more than 50% of Michigan's population, women's pay is still not equal, and the time is now to tackle pay discrimination and close pay gaps once and for all.
I know Speaker Hall has talked a lot about being committed to transparency. That's what this package is all about. It's about pay transparency. It's about fairness and openness in the hiring process and the employment process once you are hired. So this is a really critical component of transparency work that will impact everyone across our state.
Sponsors say the package of bills will allow employees to understand their rights, improve employer transparency, and make Michigan an even more favorable state for highly qualified employees. A powerful storm system continues to threaten parts of the country on this first day of spring. The system brought blizzards and whiteout conditions across parts of 6 states Wednesday, including Nebraska and Iowa. Possible tornadoes were reported in north central Illinois and in northwestern Indiana, where the roof attached to an elementary school was peeled off. Powerful winds uprooted this tree onto Jessica Ramirez's home right as her mother was rushing inside.
I'm screaming for her to stay inside. She goes to move her car. Seconds after she moves her car, the tree uproots and falls right where she was.
In the south, high winds also spread new wildfires in Oklahoma and Texas, forcing evacuations. The fire danger now expands to Florida, while parts of the Great Lakes and Northeast brace for heavy rain.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
For us here in mid-Michigan, we're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum as we ring in the spring season. Instead of feeling very spring-like we did yesterday, it's going to be a very different situation across the area with cooler temperatures and the chance for snow in the forecast today. We're already seeing a pretty big temperature change across the area. Temperatures trending anywhere from 26 to 32 degrees below where we were just 24 hours ago. In addition to the cooler temperatures, of course, we also have light to moderate snow showers falling across the area, and that snow is just slightly reducing visibility at certain points in time, but we're not seeing any significant travel impacts across the area. In Lansing, we're at 33 degrees, currently feeling like we are in the low 20s, the liquid equivalent of precipitation that we have seen since midnight, hovering right around 0.15 of an inch. You can see that reduced visibility in the background of our Grand Ledge camera. Winds already gusting as high as 21 miles per hour across the area today. We're at 33 right now in Jackson, 0.13 of an inch of precipitation, including both rain and snow actually falling into the rain gauge thus far this afternoon. And you can see some of those snowflakes still falling on the lens over in Hillsdale. 35 for our current temperature. Winds currently at 11 miles per hour coming out of the south-southwest. We'll hold on to these breezy conditions as we go throughout the rest of the day. Winds this afternoon and evening steadily gusting between 25 and 35 miles per hour across mid-Michigan. And that's going to have a big impact on our temperatures and wind chill temperatures across the area. We have already technically seen our high for the day. It was in the low 50s. It occurred right around midnight. So as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, temperatures very consistently hovering in the mid to upper 30s. Notice those wind chill temperatures staying in the 20s before we eventually fall right back down into the upper teens overnight tonight. Satellite and radar shows the area of low pressure that brought us those showers and isolated thunderstorms last night, bringing those widespread snow showers to the region this afternoon. Good news is snow should begin to taper off within the next hour or two across mid-Michigan. We dry things out, partly cloudy conditions in the forecast this evening. We are mostly clear overnight tonight, which will allow our temperatures to fall all the way down into the mid-20s. We have dry conditions in the forecast for Friday, actually going to end up being a pretty nice day with highs in the low 50s before a very weak system moves in late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Even though Precision Cast has this mostly as rain across the area, I do think this is going to be more of a mixture of rain and wet snow across mid-Michigan. Good news is it slides out of here by the time we hit daybreak on Saturday, so still dry conditions on the forecast for at least the start of the weekend. Again, temperatures tonight falling all the way down into the mid-20s. The good news is when we cool those temperatures down, winds will also begin to calm down as well. 6-day forecast shows a high in the low 50s for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast. We also have some sunshine as we start off the weekend, but notice that high only in the upper 30s. There's a second area of low pressure moving in Sunday afternoon and evening, bringing us another round of rain, eventually transitioning over into a rain and snow mix by the time we get into Monday. It's spring.
I know, right? First day.
I was kind of hoping that maybe somehow the forecast would change and
No.
we'd hit 60, but no.
No, let's get this out of the way. This is this is when I can slowly but surely start to say, all right, no more snow, because I
Yeah.
knew this was going to happen, and I know this other day is going to happen. But then I'm thinking, I could potentially try to jinx us.
Let's jinx this in a positive way here.
All right, well, we're getting ready to celebrate our 75th anniversary this year, and we could use your help. If you have any pictures or videos from back in the day, we set up a folder for you to upload your memories at WLNS.com/75. We'd love to use them on air, and if you're willing to talk about it on TV, let us know, and we'll try to get a hold of you. All right, coming up on 6 News at noon, we'll have the latest on the renewed attacks on Gaza after Israel broke the ceasefire agreement. So keep it right there. 6 News at noon, we'll be right back.